said, she goes and she makes a tweet. I don't know the exact tweets because I do not care to remember the stupidity that was spewed out of that lady's mouth and the consistent stupidity that is spewed out of her mouth. But she... Hello everyone, welcome to the Raw Report, or of course, welcome back if this isn't your first time. My name is Raquel. How's everybody doing here? I hope everybody's great. Before I get started in this video, I'm going to do my normal spiel, which is, if you guys haven't already done so, please subscribe, please like, comment, and as well, share the content if you like it. Now moving on. All right, so there's been a lot of things going on, and this is a topic I kind of like debated about speaking about, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And so we're gonna get back into it. I did a whole video, but the quality was super bad, and I was just like, putting two videos with just horrible quality up just wasn't for me. I don't know what happened with the last video, so hopefully this one is good. I'm looking around because I'm in, as you guys can tell, a different area of my house, which is actually, you guys, my living room. And I just felt like being in here because it was a nice day out and let me live. Plus, it's very good natural lighting, so hopefully it comes across. Yay. Okay, so I did a video and I was discussing in this video about the whole rhetoric of people being upset about Caitlin Clark getting the 41 games of her 44 nationally televised. I went into detail, tried to give you guys good, insightful information and just, explain why these people have issues and so forth. And the quality suck. So I was like, what do I do? So unfortunately, I'm not putting that one up, but I'm going to still reiterate some of that with some additional information that's been put out there because I think people need to know. So if you guys are on Twitter or any social media platform, there's so much up and down things. I just did a video, if you guys haven't already checked it out, about Juju and debunking the information that people were saying that Juju is not being covered as Caitlin Clark. And again, I'm a huge Juju fan. You guys will never see somebody who don't want to see a person win. I want to see Juju win. So I didn't really go into too much of how much I feel like these are narratives they're creating to start issues, because I believe Juju does deserve the coverage she's getting, and I do not want to take away from her accolades or anything she's done. Plus, she just recently got injured, very heartbreaking, and she doesn't need more people using her name to push these weird narratives as they continue to do. However, there were several people who were upset. One of the people who were upset is called Dawn Montgomery. Now, I mentioned her by name because if you haven't realized, Montgomery is a very known name in the WNBA world. That is Renee Montgomery's cousin. Renee Montgomery, who happens to be a former WNBA player, as well as now co-owner or partial owner into the Atlanta Dream. Remember that. So she gets on the internet, and after they announced that Caitlin Clark has 41 games nationally televised, for whatever reason, that side of Twitter, and I call them that side of Twitter because they're not basketball fans. They're actually not fans of the game. They're not trying to see the women's game grow. They're literally just their anti-Caitlins. And like, we don't want to deal with Caitlin. Caitlin doesn't do anything. She's just white, and it's not true. And I hope anybody who watches my videos understands that I'm addressing the prejudices, the racism that comes from a lot of these fan bases. I've already said plenty of time that you will not be on my platform if you're a racist or you seem racist in any sense of the word. Same thing goes for somebody being prejudiced. I am a person who is like, I understand there are social and societal things that we need to discuss, and that racism, of course, exists in America, unfortunately, and I won't tolerate it. As a black person, I'm always going to support black people when it comes to racial issues, injustices, things of that nature that causes us to be systematically not able to get things, always, just so you guys know. However, I will also call out when I know people are actually being prejudiced and against people also for the same reasons why we do not like racism. So with that being said, she goes and she makes a tweet. I don't know the exact tweets because I do not care to remember the stupidity that was spewed out of that lady's mouth and the consistent stupidity that is spewed out of her mouth. But she goes and says, oh, I'm sick of Kathy. Kathy, who is the commissioner of the WNBA. She's up here promoting this girl. I don't see why she has to get all of this. And solely it's because she's white. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And I'm saying, I feel like I'm repeating the same information because they're still not getting it. First and foremost, Caitlin Clark is not getting this recognition solely because she's white. They are really trying to downplay and pretend that she didn't change women's game. Not only has she been responsible for changing women's game, the sport of basketball, she is now responsible for changing women's sports overall. So they had recently had a segment on Good Morning America, I think it was, and they said that the women's sports are so much hype behind it at this point in time that they're saying it's accumulating billions of dollars now. It's going to be looking like it's going to be so profitable for all women athletes. And this is the thing people are not getting. That's my goal. My entire reason for starting this channel was to debunk things and to give you guys realistic information and to help push the game for all women. I am not a Caitlyn Stan channel. It just so happens that to me, the person who I am seeing in real time change the dynamics of women's sports, giving people fandom that they did not have with women prior to her, I feel like she's getting unfair treatment solely off of people being upset that she is not black, dominating in a predominantly black sport in the WNBA. That was a mouthful. With that being said, it's incredibly disingenuous for what continues to happen. Caitlyn getting 41 national televised games is not solely for Caitlyn. It is also for all of the other women who are part of the league. She has opponents. There are going to be opponents. That means the other teams are also going to be televised at the same time. And you guys are not looking at it from the perspective that you need to, because you guys are still all caught up on this hatred for a girl who actually has done absolutely nothing wrong but be really good at the game and have more people come and be interested in the game. And not only that, women as a whole, athletes are literally benefiting from this. You can see the uptick in people wanting to know what player is this, who's doing that, and who's doing that. Not just in the WNBA, but this is going to translate into getting women more money in every single aspect of sports. So I'm a person who's advocating for that, because I'm like, if you guys want to do think pieces, start doing think pieces on covering how women's pay is not as much, which I'm not saying it has to be equal, but getting them paid more. If you guys want to do think pieces about getting programs involved where younger women can be covered better and how they can get involved in sports early on. Start doing pieces and articles of covering just these women, not what they have to be pitted against each other, but what they're doing individually, and start when they're in high school and things like that, like you do with the men's in sports. Start getting people and covering how women are not getting the best facilities, how women still are fighting just to be seen, brand deals and things like that. I am all for that. But all this other nonsensical stuff, I'm not for. I want people to understand something. These people are part of the problem. These journalists, these WNBA media, these people who are covering it, they are literally part of why the WNBA has struggled to grow. It's part of why the league is struggling to go. And I say this so respectfully as a black woman. A lot of black women are too much fighting battles that are not the reality of what's going on here. You guys are fighting against somebody who is in reality helping the league grow, and not only helping the league grow, she's helping and going to help other women. I understand you may not like it, because as women, I've already pointed out, we're competitive, we do these things, we're petty, we want to be the center of attention. It's hard to allow somebody else to be the center of attention. And you guys keep saying there's other white people who were great before Caitlin Clark. I am more than aware of that, but there's a difference when somebody completely moves the needle than somebody who they weren't threatened by. You weren't threatened by Diana Taurasi, even though she's a GOAT to me. She's literally a GOAT. You weren't threatened by Rebecca Lobo, because, again, these women were not getting the attention and bringing that. And women, we do not like when certain women get attention. We'll be for them as we uplift them for a while, but then once we like, oh, wait, why they like more than me? We become petty, and it's repetitive information I'm giving you guys. So let's skip to the point that I need to make in this video. I seen an article, and this man literally used Paige Beckers as a way for him to spew more just ignorance. And I don't know what else to say, because that's all I can see. It's just distasteful article saying that Middle America, meaning whites, are no longer supporting Paige Beckers because she stated that she was privileged, and she also indicated that she listens to Marvin Gaye and she had a black boyfriend at one point. That's what they're doing. That's the narrative that they're spewing. Although, remember, the last video I just said was that Juju Watkins wasn't getting enough coverage because she's black. Do you guys see what's happening here? Like, do you guys see the division, the divisiveness, the decisiveness that they're doing to continue to push narratives that have nothing to do with the actual game? Listen to me. Paige Bueckers has not been covered as much this season because Paige Bueckers, unfortunately, she did get injured. That kind of slowed her down. But more importantly, she has been outplayed by Hannah as well as Juju Watkins. And that's why. It's just the truth. She is also a fifth-year senior. She's playing well. She's efficient. She's great. There's nothing wrong with Paige Bueckers. I am not dissing Paige Bueckers. The problem I have is using Paige Bueckers to push and spew this rhetoric that Paige Bueckers is not the white girl that white people like is weird at this point. People like Caitlin Clark, and people got involved with looking at Caitlin Clark's game because she was doing something which we call phenomenal. She's a phenom. She is a generational talent. It's not something you see every day. You're talking about a person who came into college, broke record after record after record. I've said this repeatedly, and she was shooting threes. She was doing things that was special. She was garnering authentic, genuine attention because she had done something that women basketball had never done prior to her. It was exciting. It was crazy. It was like, I want to see what this girl's going to do next. She was scoring amazing, a bunch of points. She was just doing crazy things that we were like, who is she? You know? And even then, a lot of people were pointing out in my comments, like, Caitlin Clark did not get this attention until she was in junior year. And it's very much true. Nobody was talking about Caitlin Clark prior to that, like, not the levels that they started to speak of her. Saying all that to say that a lot of people are continuing to do this racist divisiveness, and they're trying to create these narratives that have nothing to do with the game. They can't even just write articles about these women and other players without, one, mentioning Caitlin Clark some way, somehow. And then secondly, they can't just give them their, flowers, per se, without telling them, oh, well, because this and that. It's tiring. It's very tiring. You can write a story on Juju Watkins and say how great she is and how much and better she's performed, her efficiency, or not even efficiency if you know Juju, but her defense and different things like that. But you don't have to bring up Caitlin Clark. Same thing with Paige Bueckers. You can write stories on her. You don't have to bring up Caitlin Clark. Hannah has not gotten the coverage she deserves. You can write stories on her. This goes for several players. Van Leith. You can just go down the line. You don't have to bring up Caitlin Clark when you're discussing Angel Reese. They are not in the same realm. I'm so sick of having to tell Angel Reese fans that no Caitlin Clark fan really cares that much. And there are some who do. They're racist, they're haters, they're trolls, they're weird. I do know that exists. And she doesn't deserve some of the nastiness that she gets. But when we're just talking about skills and players, she doesn't compare to Caitlin Clark. And it's okay to say that. You don't have to like Caitlin Clark. You don't have to like Angel Reese. I've said all of these things before. But what you do have to do is respect what's happening here. These women are garnering attention that we didn't get before. It is good for the game. It's good for the growth. You have to get rid of these media pundits and these people covering the league, and these people are part of the league who are being biased, who are being unprofessional, who are covering players based upon favoritism, and they're not covering other players because they don't like how they look. And I'm going to tell you guys right now something I said on Twitter. In the history books, there will be a day where Caitlin Clark will be given credit for the fact that she changed the entire dynamics for women's sports. And she was responsible and made history for everything that we're going to see 10, 15 years from now, with women getting the respect that they deserve as athletes. Keep that in mind. I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and blessings.